Well, Roundy Supermarket, which operates Pick and Save and Metro Market, is going to pay more than $1 million for alleged violations. They include more than 1,000 short weight package violations, which is when the weight on the label is listed as higher than it actually is, leading to consumers paying for less than they think they are. Then the company also faces 90 package labeling violations, which is when label errors mislead customers. The company did not admit to any violations, but will be paying the fine.